Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to day 3 of the Chaos TV Challenger Series number 15. My name is Nature, I'm joined by Spuddington, and this is Team Cooler Master versus Avalanche Prime.
Wait, team... Oh, that's what it... I never knew that's what TCM... My mind... You just blew my mind. Wow. Yeah, TCM, as I have always known them, and they have always been said... That's mind blown. Okay, right, so... Avalanche versus TCM, both very, very solid challenger teams. TCM have been running this exact lineup for quite a while now, and they're very experienced. They are one of the best challenger teams in Europe, undeniably, at least in the top 2. So, really, really strong team. Avalanche, though, has kind of become out of almost nowhere since just last week. They've kind of become giant slayers, honestly. They were in the finals of the previous tournament. They really pulled out all the stops yesterday. We will see what they choose to go for this game. But it does look like thus far they have locked in Elise. Oh, and just one final note. For Champion Select, Nature and myself will be a little bit behind just because we're casting over the stream.
Yeah, unfortunately. So Avalanche Prime here locking in the Elise as well as the Varus and the Fiddlesticks on the other side. However, TCM are looking to pick up that Caitlyn along with the Thresh. They have just locked in the Jax here, as Motroko is now looking to make the pick for the final or the second final turn for their team, and they are hovering over the Volibear right here. It would not surprise me a whole lot, and they do actually lock it in here.
Yeah, not surprising at all. If you were watching the cast yesterday where TCM was playing Naruterador on the Volibear, I think he played it both games, and in the first game particularly when it was being casted by Jat, he just became a ridiculous monstrosity rolling around and killing everyone he came into contact with. Unfortunately for him, it does look like he's going to be up against several characters kind of adept at kiting this time from Avalanche, so going to have to contend with the Fiddle Fear, Varus, Slow, and Chains of Corruption, and Elise's Stun, which is very easy to land at a charging Volibear. We'll see what Avalanche chooses to go for to round out their lineup, but if they were to go for that Zed pick, that would be interesting in that it does kind of signal they're planning on running quite a lot of split pushing and relying on that crowd control, relying on that kiting ability that you see from the other 3 members to just hold the front, as it were, when TCM tried to punish that split pushing Zed.
So Anstrom locking in the Nasus as well. Now, not surprising either, as he has run that quite a lot in the past, meaning yesterday, where he was quite the problem for the other team. As you see, they did manage to beat their opponents, as right now it's Naruterador's last and final pick for his team at this point. Let's see what that one is going to be, as I am not too sure and I don't really want to make any predictions, although the Ahri was actually to be expected just a little bit here. So hovering over the Ahri right here, and we will see whether he'll be locking that one in soon. Just 5 more seconds to go and he will lock that one in. So an assassin heavy mid lane right there.
Yeah, TCM running quite a mobile composition. They themselves are potentially going to be relying on split pushing and lane rotation catching this game. It's going to be interesting to see if they actually how these lanes go, because I think the focal point, once again, when Nasus is in the game, I always say this, but focal point is how strong Nasus gets, because as a duelist, he is one of the only champions in the game that can outscale Jax. In a straight up one-on-one, Nasus, if he gets enough Q stacks and doesn't fall behind, will actually be able to fight Jax one-on-one and come out on top. That makes him really, really scary, and that means that JWoww has his work cut out, shutting down Anstrom's Nasus. I would say, though, there is this may be a slight problem for Anstrom's playstyle, because he tends to play quite defensively, picks up Doran's rings to keep himself in the lane early on, and doesn't tend to itemize CDR, so he will not scale up as quickly as perhaps your average solo queue Nasus. It's a safer playstyle, but he may need to go more aggressive if he wants to be able to outfight JWoww. Regardless though, guys, we will be just going into a quick commercial break while the delay timer is ticking down, so once that is done, the game will load, and then we will be able to get in to spectate it properly. We'll see you after this break. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. This is TCM versus Avalanche Prime. We are underway in the first game of a best of 3 series. I am Spuddington, joined by Nature, and I've got to say, right now, I'm a little bit perplexed as to exactly the logic behind Avalanche running Nasus jungle.
Oh, it really had struck me that he was running jungle, but yeah, so am I. A little bit surprised here, so looking forward to that Nasus in the jungle. That is going to mean Anstrom is running the Elise top or mid. I'm thinking it is going to be top, as we do have Team Cooler Master in that top lane. They might just be starting to make a move here, as we do have that ward right there to maybe spot them out. And Avalanche Prime are waiting for them in that blue bush, so that might just be trouble for them if TCM decide to actually go in here.
It's a dangerous move by TCM here. Avalanche have predicted this move. They've clearly done their research. They've predicted that TCM's reaction might well be to go for the late invade on the blue here. They know that Nasus is a fairly blue-dependent jungler, but that means that they are now free to react however they want. If Avalanche wants to group, they could, but it does look like they're not going to opt to do that. May, in fact, go for the steal instead, but Jax, ready for a 1v2 lane in the bot lane, is already taking away that allied blue buff, so this could be interesting. Fiddlesticks heading in.
Yeah, so TCM actually predicting the prediction counterplay of Avalanche right there, as JWoww, he hasn't taken the blue buff quite yet. Now Dan is looking to actually pick that one up for himself, as in that middle lane it is going to be Big Goose versus Belgian Beast, while Anstrom is going to have to face off against that duo lane of Matraco and Barney D. So I'm not too sure that would be too good of a lane for an Elise, but of course he is taking those wolves, so he might just not need a lot of farm in that lane, except for maybe defending his turret, as he of course has taken some monster creeps already.
Yeah, this is one of the things you'll often see. The AD carry and the support in the 2v1 situation, they want to build up a big creep wave and deny the laner, the solo laner, as much XP as they possibly can. Resultantly, they try and freeze the lane, build up a big creep wave, charge down the tower with it. The laner has really no option to get close, so they go and take a jungle camp instead and try and keep themselves in contention. Anstrom has really got to watch out though. If he doesn't hit level 2, he could easily be dived, and it actually looks like they're just going to zone him out completely. Dan, however, is mirroring this. Watch that bot lane and watch that top lane. Either side could come explosive really quickly.
Yeah, JWoww might be in real danger here, but he does manage to keep a safe distance here. Now he is trying to force Dan and the rest of them away. He's trying to stun him up with that counter-strike, but it isn't really working out for him. As meanwhile, we do have the rest of TCM at this point trying to actually do a little bit of dirty farming right there in between turrets, as they are trying to take down this turret as fast as possible. Now it is looking like that one will fall in the next wave, or right now rather, as Avalanche Prime will probably be taking that bottom turret for themselves as fast as possible in probably the next wave, and I don't really see TCM reacting to that, coming towards that bottom lane, as they are looking to start pushing this second turret in that top lane.
Yeah, and if this race continues in this manner, TCM are going to come out on top. They have got faster pushing. They have got a better defense in the form of JWoww. And Anstrom is level 2 against 3 members of TCM. He does not yet have repel, does not yet have his stun. He will now. But that is really difficult for him to deal with. Actually getting the engage on for Dan, but they're not going to chase that.
No, Dan has arrived towards Anstrom here. Now he has been spotted out by that ward, so they know where he is at this point. In the meantime, we do actually have a move there in that same lane as JWoww. If JWoww actually discovers he's there, that might spell trouble for him. For now, it is just looking like Mover is waiting for his AD carry Sliver to arrive, and then they might just pull quite a sneaky kill, or quite a sneaky attempt to kill here on JWoww with that Terrify. That might be real trouble. JWoww getting terrified here. Sliver has arrived as well. JWoww just jumps out, no problem for him so far.
Now, the thing that Avalanche have got in their favor right now that could be used against them potentially is the fact that they can now freeze top and bottom lanes in a position where TCM will not be able to really go there and safely farm themselves. That ends up denying Matroco quite a lot of creeps, and you can see right now he's taking away the Wraith camp. The thing is though, if they group 3-man or even 4-man mid, that will force at least Mover to head up there. They could continue to leave Varus down in the bottom lane to get some farm. But the thing is that Dan on Nasus is actually really good in this kind of situation because his wave clear for a jungler in a tower siege situation is incredibly strong. Anstrom, though, is going to be the one being pushed right now by TCM. Dan moving to support, but it looks like the 3-man top is back in session.
Yeah, so I thought that hook would connect, but once again a perfectly placed repel there of Anstrom's, which he did do quite some times earlier in their matches yesterday. Or in their matches earlier in another competition, I believe, rather. As right now TCM, as you said, continuing to push this top lane. This might spell once again trouble for Mover and Anstrom if they decide to stick around for too long, because TCM might just... Oh, the hook actually landing on Anstrom here. Will they continue on towards that? No, they won't. Just a built over Peacemaker to top it off, and they'll just start sieging once again really, really soon here.
Dan is continuing to farm the jungle right now. Dan is going to build himself up a decent advantage over his companion, parallel jungler in the form of Naruterador. Jeebus. I cannot say words today, but the problem with doing that is that if either of those two players get hooked at any point, they will almost certainly die. And Dan is so far away, he will not be able to react fast enough to save the tower. However, assuming it continues to go to plan for Avalanche and they continue to hold this, it's still going to get Matroco farmed, but it's not really going to achieve anything map pressure-wise, and Naruterador is falling behind.
In the meantime, we did actually see Naruterador stealing that blue buff, so we do have Dan counteracting to that by trying to maybe steal the enemy blue buff of TCM's, but he has almost been spotted out. I'm sure he really wasn't, and Belgian Beast... Oh, JWoww actually takes it. I was expecting Belgian Beast to take it, but JWoww took it instead. As once again TCM trying to push here. Naruterador moving towards Anstrom. He might have been in real trouble if Naruterador decided to flip him over his head. Or here comes a death sentence on towards Anstrom. He uses a repel to get out, but it might not quite be enough as the pelt over Peacemaker comes out. Now here Naruterador. Mover saves the day with a beautiful, beautiful Terrify to get Naruterador out of there. And now here comes Big Goose on towards Naruterador. Will it be enough? No, it won't, as a Dark Passage saves him.
I felt like Big Goose there was just a little bit afraid that if he deathmarked, he might actually get pulled along with the Lantern. That would have been an unfortunate outcome for him because he would have ended up in a 1-on-3 situation. So he was a little bit ginger about going for it. However, Dan, taking advantage of how strong Nasus jungle is at objective control, is now going to take away this dragon. I don't think JWoww has twigged, and I don't think he's going to be able to get there in time. So, that is a free dragon taken, and Avalanche are once again getting the edge on objectives. This is their playstyle. They are so objective focused, and it's really quite fun to watch.
Yeah, as right now Mover has rejoined his AD carry in that bottom lane. Maybe looking for that Terrify on JWoww, but JWoww is backing away safely here as Dan is just continuing his jungle path. Now, we do have Belgian Beast, so I thought he would be looking to go in towards that jungle, but he was just warding as Barney D joins him in that middle lane. And they might just be looking to put some pressure on this middle turret here, but it is just looking like Barney D is actually moving towards that top lane to maybe start pushing Anstrom back once again here. Oh, actually, we do have Big Goose going in on towards the Belgian Beast. As the ultimate gets popped, Ignite has landed. Belgian Beast might be in real trouble here. Ignite has still ticking, and Belgian Beast does manage to get away here.
Yeah, Big Goose there, very tempted to try and go for the all-in. One more auto attack would have done it, but if he had continued to chase, unlikely he'd have been able to catch up for that last auto attack. Quite likely he would have ended up getting charmed, and that would have been the end of him. So, a very close engagement there. A lot of summoners used by both mid laners, but Belgian Beast coming out a little bit ahead on the grounds that he did not have to use his flash. Big Goose actually is having to run for his life there from Naruterador. But I was just about to say, he's kind of playing with fire, going that close to Bear.
Yeah, this Bear is really, really dangerous. However, Anstrom is here to reinforce Big Goose, so Naruterador might just want to back away a little bit, because if that cocoon does manage to land, Naruterador might be in real peril. As we do have right now Avalanche Prime going for a 5-man push at this point on that middle outer turret. This might be real danger for TCM, as we do have, we're actually channeling for the dive. Belgian Beast in real trouble here. Chain of Corruption landed. He just gets blown up. Naruterador as well. No problem at all. 2 kills coming in here for Avalanche Prime, and they're looking to take that turret.
So now it is a straight up base race if Avalanche want it. They could 5-man mid, but they would have to deal with JWoww and they would have to deal with Barney D. Looks like they've opted instead to react to the fact Matroco is pushing up there. But such a nice map movement there by Avalanche. They got 5 men in the mid lane, with TCM being almost none the wiser. Big Goose going for Matroco. I don't think Matroco is going to get out of this.
Yeah, Matroco in real danger by that red buffed Big Goose. He goes on towards him with the death mark. Matroco going down surely here. No problem for Big Goose, as he has got 3 of the 3 kills on Avalanche Prime's name at this point.
Yeah, Zed starting to get really scary, and that is not something you want to deal with. Zed does scale incredibly hard in a one-on-one situation. At the moment, he is most likely capable of killing anyone on TCM's team. And actually, JWoww being quite aggressive there, going in for that bottom lane. If Mover had, for instance, had that brush warded, he potentially could have gone for the fear into a lot of damage punish on JWoww, but instead gets up, doesn't get any punish on him, and he will just continue to farm the bot lane.
Meantime, we do actually have Big Goose backing away with 2,000 gold, so he will be picking up himself 2 daggers alongside a bilge water cutlass or the brutalizer. I'm not too sure which one of the 2 he had picked up before. So here, right now, Anstrom going in on towards Barney, actually stealing him up, using that volatile spider. You have that dark passage coming out to defend himself, and Barney D will live to see another day. So he'll be backing away here. But that was really quite close. If Anstrom had had some help there, I'm not too sure Barney D would have actually survived.
So Avalanche now need to take advantage of the fact that at the moment they have an answer to Jax. They can stop him from pushing solo and just farming himself into a beast. If they don't stop him from farming, he's going to get too strong too quickly. And Avalanche, I think, knows that. They are actually looking to maybe force a team fight over this blue buff. They've got it warded. They know what's up. And TCM have also committed 4 men in the area. Varus is visible bot. It looks like TCM are just going to get this.
Or is it... Did he actually get it? I think he got it.
He got it. He got it.
Big Goose actually stealing the blue buff right there. Great play once again here by Avalanche Prime, just rotating to the place they need to be at that point. So Belgian Beast not getting the blue buff for himself. He won't be spamming out his abilities anytime soon, as Big Goose is heading over towards that top lane to start a little bit of split pushing right there, as everyone just returns to their respective lanes, if you will.
Yeah, nothing too surprising about that. Zed will do a lot of pushing. The question now, though, is going to be whether JWoww can duel him. He's heading for the top lane. Naruterador is also in the area to support that if it comes to it. So I imagine, yeah, Big Goose is just going to back away from that potentially. But whether or not they can continue this map pressure using Big Goose is going to be a big sticking point for Avalanche. If they can get that map pressure down, they know how to exploit it with lane rotations. They know how to catch people out with dives like we saw in the mid lane. The question is whether they can continue to set that up for themselves. Belgian Beast versus Anstrom in the mid.
Oh, so much damage coming down from Anstrom here with just two skills on towards Belgian Beast. So Belgian Beast has lost around 50% of his health, and that really is the strength of that Elise, of course, as she's only got the Sorcerer's Shoes and a Ruby Crystal and an Amplifying Tome, so that is not too much items right there, as Avalanche Prime are looking to take down the second dragon of this game, now with 5 members, and it is looking like that will be uncontested.
It will indeed. Anstrom is actually not heading back to stop Jax. He's instead just joining the rest of their team. They opted to send Dan back instead, who will actually really benefit from that farm, does have the blue buff. I am a little bit curious though, if he can stop Jax. He's level 9 to level 11. Both summoners up on JWoww. It does look like JWoww is just going to opt for the cautious approach here and back away. Avalanche therefore have this free reign to push this bottom lane or the mid lane. They've got the vision control, and that is their choice. They will be trying to mix up TCM so that they get the numbers advantage in whichever lane they choose to go for.
Big Goose was looking for a sneaky pick on towards Belgian Beast right there. Now he did get spotted out by that ward, so unfortunately for him, he did not quite manage to get that death mark and perhaps the kill on towards Belgian Beast. In the meantime, as you said, Avalanche here trying to push this bottom lane, as well as Big Goose actually doing a little bit of shoving in that middle lane for himself, as that might result in trouble, but TCM have reacted to that by sending Naruto towards that top lane to help JWoww pushing there.
Alright, so now this is going to force, Sliver has actually just recalled, so really nice timing by Avalanche. If they want to use their duo lane to stop Jax, they can do that. They can then push out that lane and look to go for that exposed upper tower. But I think it's getting to a point where neither team is able to take a big advantage right now. Avalanche, yes, they do have a little bit more map control at the moment, but it's nothing too severe. The question is going to be, what is the late game plan for both of these teams? Because we've already kind of hit the mid game roaming phase, and Avalanche, as I mentioned, slightly coming out ahead on that, but they are not so far ahead that they can just say, right, we're going to roll them with our gold advantage, and that is the plan. So, it feels to me like at the moment, the better team fight is actually going to be Avalanche in that late game. So I'm curious as to whether they will be trying to abuse that fact, or whether they're just going to continue with this very split push orientated style. It is what they tend to do. They've come out of nowhere basically off the back of it, but I'd like to see them try and go for a much more team fight style this game.
Oh, Barney D almost getting caught there by Anstrom, as Anstrom had just seen him with the help of the ward there, of course, as he did manage to protect his ward, as Barney D was rocking the oracles. Now, once again, Naruto and JWoww in the top lane. That might just spell trouble for Dan here, as they are looking to flank him just after taking that blue buff. Oh, and here comes a Crow Storm in that bottom lane. The Chain of Corruption not quite landing on Montroko. He has been exhausted, and Avalanche Prime are forced out of here. Now Dan might be in trouble. On they go on towards Dan. JWoww Naruto doing quite a lot of damage. Dan trying to get out of there as fast as he can. He's taking so much damage, but he is so fast. Will JWoww be able to get this? No, he won't, as he gets withered, and Dan makes a clean escape.
I'm amazed that Dan survived, and now Avalanche have a free reign to push this really hard. They want to go for the dive, but they're not going to get a kill out of it. It looks like they're just going to get the tower. JWoww, however, has no creeps in that top lane, cannot take a tower in return, even though they were able to push Dan out. I mean, like I say, I'm shocked that he survived, but the fact that he did is so good for Avalanche.
Alright, so now Dan almost spotting out JWoww. I believe he had actually spotted him out. So, JWoww, I'm not too sure why Avalanche are not backing away earlier right now. Okay, so here comes JWoww on towards Sliver and Mover. Sliver just getting the better of him with the Blade of the Rune King right there. Now Belgian Beast eating a piercing arrow as Avalanche Prime has started pushing in here. That might spell trouble for TCM, as Belgian Beast is quite low. Now he is backing away, but so are Avalanche Prime, so that might just not result in a team fight, as Dan is forced over towards that top lane because the minions have started pushing there.
The interesting thing though about what Avalanche is doing right now is they're getting their jungler very uncommonly farmed. Normally what you'd expect to see is something like Naruto, where he's got 79 CS and about 20 minutes. That's actually a little bit on the high side. Nasus right now getting quite a lot more than that, 126. He's farming up his Q. He's got 243 bonus damage on that, which is a little bit low if he was a laning Nasus, but pretty high for a jungle one. So What the Avalanche appear to be wanting to do here is to make sure that Nasus is built up strong enough to fight Jax one-on-one later on. And we saw it when they caught him. He's pretty hard for Jax to kill already. This could only get worse with time. Matroco has been found.
Yeah, Matroco has been found right there. He has flashed away, so he did just dodge the cocoon by Anstrom. Of Anstrom, rather, as Anstrom is now forced to back away. So flash burned by Matroco, as Matroco might just be in trouble if he does get caught by a cocoon once again. So once again, a little bit of a lull here in this game, as everyone is just farming it out and waiting perhaps for the next, or for the other team to make a move.
So Avalanche have actually kind of got the double lane freeze once again. They've got Sliver farming the bottom lane, and they've got Dan now farming that top lane very, very slowly. That's really, really good for them for now, because JWoww is actually committed in the bot lane. But if TCM can get that advantage in the mid lane, if they can catch out Big Goose, that will turn on its head very quickly, because TCM could barrel down the middle. It's a very confident play by Avalanche to make certain that they have got that control. But it actually looks like now the next contention point is going to be this dragon.
Yeah, the dragon has just respawned, so that is going to be surely a contention point. Anstrom gets caught. He takes a lot of damage. He goes down to Belgian Beast. That really wasn't where he wanted to be at that point. As right now TCM is looking to take down this dragon, but they might just look for another pick here if they can take that down, and they take down the dragon and back away. So this dragon going over to TCM, that is their very first kill actually that they picked up on towards Anstrom. So picking up that kill, picking up the dragon, good play by them.
Yeah, it's been quite a slow-paced, very methodical and positioning-focused game so far from Avalanche. They've kept control of it very effectively, but they haven't really been, getting that momentum going that you see on some, heroes. Mover going in the mid, but
yeah,
not fighting anyone.
Yeah, okay. So Mover going in right there with the Crow Storm. He did force the flash, I believe, out of, was it Barney D? I'm not too sure. Yes, he did force a flash out of Barney D, and now they are looking to push down this middle lane. He wasn't quite hit by the charm, but now they are, as I said, trying to put some damage on this middle inner turret as the minions are moving towards them, but JWoww might spell trouble if he gets too close to them.
This is another really good timing push though again. They knew Thresh was recalling. They knew that Matroco was committed in bot lane. This could be a fight from TCM, but the tower has already taken a lot of damage for free. It's now a question of whether TCM can get a fight in return.
Ooh, Anstrom not quite getting hooked right there, but he is going to be in real trouble. He gets flayed back, he gets charmed up, he does flash out of it. Here comes the death mark on towards JWoww. JWoww taking a lot of damage. Big Goose does manage to get out of there. We do have now Pterodor falling first. Now Mover might be in trouble as he goes down to Belgian Beast. As we do have Belgian Beast right now chasing onto Sliver. Great charm right there. Sliver goes down. As that is the third kill for TCM right there. Hook landing on Anstrom. That is going to be painful for him. Double kill for JWoww as JWoww goes down as a result of that.
So TCM do find the fight they were looking for, and they do win it. So really nice play from both teams there. But Avalanche not able to get a big enough advantage there to make that a worthwhile play from them. Very interesting that they've actually caught Big Goose.
Yeah, Big Goose in all kinds of trouble here. Barney D trying to chase in on towards him, but here is Dan actually withering on Matroco. Here is forced to cleanse. So right now Barney D is in real trouble. Will he be charmed up? No, he won't. Barney D is surely going to go down of this, I think, as Dan does finish him off with the siphoning strike. Now Belgian Beast might be in trouble as well, as Dan is still chasing. Ooh, the Orb of Deception not quite connecting on Big Goose, and TCM make a clean escape.
Dan too tanky and Belgian Beast with no mana. So Avalanche, in spite of losing the fight, they managed to hold on to their own tower, and they're going to turn this around from that nice little re-engage. Dan will be able to wither JWoww, so they will be able to run away from this. The only concern right now is that maybe TCM could look to get some vision control, or to try and go for Baron if they can catch someone. Big Goose is going to have to recall though, and he should be able to get back in before anything like that can happen.
Ooh, so the blue buff going over to Pterodor there as he smited that one. Now we do have JWoww heading towards that top lane. As you might just see Mover starting to deny TCM's vision and starting to plan some wards of his own as he is heading towards that bottom lane, maybe to reinforce Sliver at this point, or maybe just to head back towards that Baron pit. or to defend this middle turret, rather, as right now Dan has joined him as well. And we do actually have a Big Goose coming in towards him to help him there a little bit as well.
Yeah, so once again, Avalanche just continuing to play the slow game. They definitely do seem to have, you know, they're almost on another level from most of the teams we see in the Challenger Series, as you know, in terms of just their sheer ability to control the map. But they often seem to fall behind if it comes to an actual team fight for them. So interesting that they seem to be one step ahead in one aspect and one step behind on another. But now it's a question of how they can use that for themselves. Anstrom is in the top lane.
Yeah, he might be in trouble here. Gets flinged over. Here comes a death mark towards JWoww. JWoww taking a lot of damage, but so does Anstrom. Oh, JWoww actually going down almost instantly. Anstrom sinking in the fangs. Now he is in trouble. He goes down to Neraterdor. Now Big Goose in a 1v1 versus Neraterdor. It isn't looking like he is going to win that one, as the Stormborn passive gets triggered, and it results in a double kill for Neraterdor.
Really, really nice juggling of the damage, but they underestimated how much damage Volibear does, even when he's solo there. So he ends up getting both of the kills and turning that around. Sliver actually finds Matroco in the bottom lane, trying to take that tower at the expense of his own life, ends up not taking the tower at the expense of his own life. That does, once again though, mean that Dan is left farming this top lane. You don't want to let that Nasus keep farming. He is now starting to put points in his queue, so that pace of queue stacking is actually going to accelerate if he is allowed to continue to farm it. As it happens though, he's going to be forced to react, but not really in time to save that mid tower.
Well, mid tower going down for TCM right here, as Barney D has started to clear out some wards near that barren pit. Now there is still some remaining right there, but it is looking like he's actually going to back out of it, and everyone just returns to wait until the other team makes a move here. And I've got a feeling that the next move might just be centered around that dragon pit, or either the Baron pit, but the dragon is coming up in around 15 seconds.
Yeah, so once again, Avalanche continuing to kind of fan out, but they've actually lost a little bit of their gold lead, and TCM is starting to get back into this fairly effectively right now. I mean, they were never completely like behind or out of it, but they were just a little bit behind, and Avalanche's pace in terms of tower taking slowed down a lot. TCM's has only accelerated. They will get that dragon, yes, and potentially catch JWoww here, which is another fairly bad thing from TCM's perspective. They are going to have to respond. Dan surely will be able to take this almost alone.
Yeah, Dan just trying to do as much damage as he can on JWoww, but JWoww now jumping on Sliver, or is he? Yes, he jumps on towards Sliver. Now he's taking a lot of damage. Chain of Corruption comes out as the piercing arrow finishes him off, but Big Goose might be in trouble here. Neraterdor trying to chase him down, fling him over his head as he almost goes down instantly. He does manage to get the death mark off, but it won't be quite enough, as here comes the ace in the wall on towards Mover. Mover will be found by Neraterdor in a second here, but Neraterdor does get withered up, and Avalanche Prime, or the remaining members of Avalanche Prime, do manage to escape here, but they are forced to defend their turret.
Yeah, this is the thing though. Avalanche continuing to push towers while all that was going on. Elise took the top tower, which was exposed, then moved on to take this secondary tower. I don't know if Anstrom's going to be able to get this in time, and needs to make himself scarce because Neraterdor is a very scary bear. But the sheer ability of Avalanche to take the small advantages and make them bigger is really, really impressive.
Oh, Anstrom flashing over the wall right there, as he was almost getting caught by Neraterdor, so he does manage to get out once again. That very, very slippery Elise right there. You have Sliver just shoving this bottom lane. Now that might just signal TCM to make something happen here, but then again, of course, Matroco is in that top lane, so he won't be fighting anytime soon, as the rest of his team is maybe looking to make something happen in that middle lane.
Indeed, once again, Mover has kind of slowed down on his Crow Storm engages since the unfortunate incident where he missed it a little bit of time ago, but Fiddlesticks is always a very opportunistically focused character, and if you haven't got the opportunities, no point in trying for them. But this is quite dangerous. TCM have the vision control, and they are looking for the pick. They know that if they can force a team fight, they can come out on top, and they also know that the state of the game board right now means that Avalanche do not have the means to force them away from that Baron. They can't, for instance, split push very safely because TCM would just turn around straight off the bat and get some free Baron buffs for themselves.
If anyone from either team gets caught here by either a cocoon or maybe a death sentence, that is going to be really, really bad for either of them. But right now, Avalanche Prime has started to move towards that blue buff area. However, TCM are going for this Baron, and if Avalanche Prime are not going to react to this, that might be really, really bad for them if TCM will be able to take this Baron.
Really, really nice play by TCM here. But it actually looks like, to me, Avalanche are going to go for a trade. They want an inhibitor, but they're willing to give up the Baron for it. Again, that is the focus of Avalanche as a team. They are objective-based. They are map pressure-based. They are not going to be able to take the actual inhibitor itself, though, and I think that is going to cost them more than it was worth. They will get this inhibitor tower, and that will be super, super nice for them. But the respawning TCM is coming in, and this could get really ugly really fast.
Yeah, goes JWoww. Sliver taking a lot of damage. Here comes the ace in the hole. Doesn't quite kill him yet. Sliver taking so much damage, but so does JWoww. Now Big Goose goes down first to Matroko. Nerutador looking for Dan here. Dan getting chased down, getting flung over Nerutador's head, but Nerutador does manage to survive, as does Dan. Now Anstrom taking a lot of damage. Matroko will finish that off with a flash headshot, and Sliver does manage to get out. So does Dan, but that is a 3-for-0 trade.
If TCM had been 10 seconds slower on the call to take Baron, would have cost them that inhibitor. As it is, though, their snappy decision making themselves has meant they now have a big advantage to play with. They are looking to take towers because obviously that will give them the global gold and the map pressure they are currently, you know, not behind on, but a little bit wanting for. So will Avalanche respawning be able to save more? I mean, they're going to lose this first tower, obviously. That's just pretty much part and parcel. But the question is whether they're going to be able to save the next few towers. TCM are probably just going to want to back out and heal after this one, though.
Oh, Dan taking quite a lot of damage of that Belgian Beast combo, as he does finally force Matroko and Belgian Beast away, or they actually just decide to leave, rather. Right now, Avalanche Prime starting to set up a little bit of a defensive perimeter here, if you will, as Nerutador has stolen away their red buff. Now, Anstrom just checking if that blue buff is still there and starting off the walls. As we do have JWoww starting to split push a little bit in that top lane. And if Avalanche Prime fail to deal with this, that might be really, really starting to get messy for them at this point.
Yeah, indeed. They definitely lost the control of the game making that call. They've got that open inhibitor, though. That is going to be very powerful for them in the long run, but they've got to wait out this Baron buff, and that could prove difficult. TCM have shown themselves to be adept at team fighting and to have the stronger team fighting style this game as well. If TCM are allowed to get a fight at all, well, they've got their Baron buff, they're pretty much going to win it. So Avalanche, you can expect to see them play very, very defensively. May have said these words before, but and to kind of hide behind their towers and to do a bit of that split pushing where they can get it.
Alright, so right now TCM starting to push a little bit in that middle lane, starting to put some pressure on Avalanche Prime here, while JWoww is doing some split pushing. As earlier, now Avalanche Prime have got quite some powerful wave clear with those Razor Shurikens and Piercing Arrows. So they really can deal with those waves coming in towards them, as long as there's no super minions hiding between the other minions. Right now, TCM starting off that dragon, and I really don't think Avalanche Prime can actually do something about that. Oh, Mover actually flashing for the death sentence.
Indeed, Mover looking actually now to join up with the team. Sliver could be in trouble here. Barney D is trying to set up for the Lantern into death sentence, but right now, Avalanche are once again kind of pushing out this top lane, but this could cost them quite seriously. TCM are looking to capitalize.
Yeah, Mover going down very, very fast. Chain of Corruption has landed, so that will deter TCM, or that will slow them down rather, as they will just hammer down on this inner turret very, very quickly. Now they are looking for that inhibitor turret. We do have Dan as well as Big Goose returning towards that middle lane and reinforcing Sliver here. They did seem to force TCM away, but they might just be looking for a counter engage here, as Belgian Beast and the rest of his team are waiting in the wing, as they have worded out. Now here they come, and it is looking like Avalanche Prime will back away safely once again here.
Yeah, the Avalanche are taking a lot of big risks for relatively small gains. You saw him, Dan and I believe Anstrom in the top, or kind of heading for that top lane push, leaving themselves in that 2-on-5 in the mid lane, and then Mover got caught. So they could not possibly do anything with that. Very aggressive play from Avalanche and punished really quite severely. Didn't choose to go passive and wait out the Baron buff, as mentioned, although that has now worn off, but it cost them quite a bit, and now they are going to be sieging, probably, well, being sieged actually out there in Hib, unless they kill JWoww, but GA and his Jax, it's just not happening.
No, JWoww being so tanky at this point, as Mover and Dan are looking to try and take down this blue buff of TCM's. Now TCM, I don't think they're actually heading towards them, but they are heading in towards this middle lane, however, so they might be looking for a quick pick on that turret, and I don't think Avalanche Prime can actually do something about that if they don't arrive in time. Sliver running for that turret as fast as he can here, as here come the members of TCM. JWoww getting withered up, getting forced out of there, and this might be a long siege.
If there's one thing that Avalanche do, and Belgian Beast nearly getting caught there, but if there's one thing that Avalanche does so well, it's defend towers. You will never see them lose a tower if they have 5 men mid, because they have so much wave clear with the Spirit Fire, Zed, and with the piercing arrow from Varus. It's just, you're just not going to get through that as TCM, and they are not far enough ahead to dive. That means they are basically allowed, whenever they don't get caught, to just kind of reset this and then look to find another positional advantage, which they so often do, to then take their own towers in return. That being said, Avalanche still significantly behind on the gold front, and the next Baron is going to spawn fairly soon. You can see them now trying to take vision control and actually sneak up for that top tower, just a little bit of a cheeky one there. But this could potentially be a sticking point for them if Baron will force them to come out from behind their towers.
Ooh, so this really isn't very nice for Mover. His Oracle's elixir has just worn off, so he has bought himself a new one, and he is heading towards that Baron pit once again. But the other members of Avalanche Prime are backing away here, so I don't think TCM can actually sneak a Baron here, as Big Goose is still in the vicinity. But they are in that Baron pit already, and they might just be waiting for Avalanche Prime to arrive here shortly.
Yeah, this is the thing. TCM knows that this is their big chance to force a fight, because Avalanche, as we've said, are playing very defensively. They don't really want to teamfight at all. So if TCM can force it, they can win it.
Yeah, Anstrom going down instantly. Now Matroko looking for that second kill on towards Dan. Dan is very deep now. He is running for his life. Big Goose might be looking for another pick here as the box comes down of Barney D's. But he was expecting a death mark here. Dan getting hooked in there. Barney D taking a lot of damage, but so is Dan. He is taking so much damage. Mover is as well. And Matroko is on a rampage here. Dan might be in trouble as well as he goes down. Now Sliver might be in trouble as he is facing off against JWoww. That is surely going to be Sliver popping that Guardian's Angel. But JWoww is in trouble here. Big Goose is got that ace in the hole on him. He's taking so low rather, as right now TCM might just start doing this Baron, but they are quite low of themselves as well.
Yeah, TCM being this low shouldn't matter though. Naruterador is very tanky, and JWoww has enough lifesteal. They will DPS this down before Avalanche can get there. However, as we've mentioned, Avalanche very good at defending towers, and they don't mind hiding behind them. Yes, they're not happy with this outcome. They lost the Baron, they lost a couple of kills, they've actually increased the gold difference between the two teams, but the longer the game goes on, the less meaningful gold will become, and Avalanche will be at least okay to just hang around in their own jungle, in their own base for the next 7 minutes or so until TCM can force them to come out of hiding again. The only flip side potential problem for them is if TCM either gets far enough to ahead to dive, or if they are able to get a pick. They do have the potential. If someone gets caught out with a death sentence, they can be flipped up, stunned up, and murdered. But that's a little bit unlikely considering how well Avalanche have done so far.
They're now trying to re-establish some of that vision control in their very own jungle, as we do have Avalanche Prime maybe looking to camp it out here in their very own jungle, as Barney D has started to ward. Oh, this might be iffy if they actually manage to get him, but no, he just pops a ward in there, and he spots him out. Ooh, Belgian Beast actually landing the charm right there, and Dan, me getting all excited, but he really wasn't going to follow up on that one, because Dan is so tanky at this point.
Yeah, this is, I mean, Dan, really, yeah, as you mentioned, is very tanky. 296 armor. Oh, Anstrom.
Anstrom isn't that tanky, however, he goes down, and he comes down from the repel, however, and he goes down to Belgian Beast. Now Chain of Corruption has landed on Belgian Beast. He uses the Zonia's Hourglass. Now here comes the Ace in the hole on towards Dan. Not so much damage for him. Rutador goes down very quickly, but here is JWoww. He has got that death mark on him. Mover does manage to escape somehow, but JWoww just chases him down. Now Matroko trying to chase down Avalanche Prime here, as it is a double kill for him. Now TCM will surely be taking that inhibitor turret off of that.
And Anstrom gets caught once again, and this time TCM are going to take an inhibitor, and that is going to mean they have a big advantage, assuming they aren't able to even push onto the Nexus towers here. They're lacking in minions at the moment, and JWoww did just use a lot of his health, and I hope you can't hear that motorbike. JWoww did just use a lot of his health, so they're maybe not going to be able to go for the Nexus, but really scary stuff now for Avalanche. It always becomes infinitely harder to defend.
Oh, Big Goose taking so much damage. He was just caught by the death sentence, and he does manage to escape. But these death sentences of Barney D have really been on point this game.
They really have. It's been the only reason TCM has been able to push back Avalanche at all. I mean, playing so defensively in the first place was because of their inferiority in the team fights. But the simple fact that they were able to get picks with the death sentence is what allowed them to push them back on actual towers. Now Avalanche have a mountain to climb. We said yesterday they had a mountain to climb, and they didn't actually win, but they held on for another like 20 minutes with 2 inhibitors down. But this is a big problem for them. They're weaker in team fights, and now they have to contend with super minion pressure.
Big Goose trying to push out that top lane before returning to the rest of his team's members as for defending that base from those super minions. But he might be in trouble here as JWoww goes in on towards him, stuns him up with a counter strike. Ignite has landed, but so has the death mark. Big Goose has got that Hex Drinker pops. Here comes the Ace in the hole, gets blocked out by Dan. And Mover trying to silence JWoww and fear him as fast as he can. JWoww in all kinds of trouble. Sliver has shown towards the party as well, but he does manage to get away with that leap strike. Now Avalanche Prime really don't want to overstay their welcome here as Anstrom gets caught by Belgian Beast. Belgian Beast just waiting on towards him. He goes down, no problem for him. Now Terrador gets feared up, but here is Belgian Beast. Dan taking so much damage, taken so low. Here's the Crossum move here, but I don't think it is going to matter that much. Double kill for JWoww. Now Big Goose getting chased down by Terrador. I really don't think he's going to escape from this, or he actually has got that Living Shadow, of course, so he will be escaping, as Sliver right now getting chased down as well, but he will be escaping as well, I believe.
He may be escaping, but, well, not in the long term, it looks like. Terrador continuing to chase this down, but even if they don't get it, the problem is for Avalanche, these super creeps are already at their Nexus towers, and it's 5-on-2.
Yeah, Big Goose now getting flung and getting murdered on the spot. Sliver getting stunned up on his fountain, but this is surely going to be the game for TCM. TCM taking game number 1 over Avalanche Prime and looking very strong here.
Yeah, Avalanche were not able to contend in the team fight. I don't know whether to attribute that to player skill, because to my mind, the team compositions from the two teams were, you know, not maybe a little bit in favor of TCM, but not in the kind of way that they seem to be able to turn around team fights consistently every single time in their own favor. Interesting that Avalanche were able to get that, get so far ahead in the first place, but they definitely were not able to keep that advantage rolling and did not build up that huge momentum. We will obviously be seeing more from both of these teams because this is a best of 3 format, and so that's game 1 of those 3. We will be going into the next game as soon as we possibly can. We will be getting the lobby up as soon as we possibly can as well, so we'll see you after this break.